Hey Moon Magic family, welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel, those of you who are already here, and welcome to anybody new. This is the Moon Magic Tarot, and in today's readings we are doing how is the Mercury in retrograde energy, this period, going to affect you personally? You know, aside from, I suppose we all associate Mercury in retrograde with disruptions and interruptions and delays, but actually there is always purpose to these things. And it's really quite remarkable because this Mercury in retrograde period, almost muddled my kind of words there. Isn't that interesting? Even that feels like that. It's a muddle. We often get, interrupted, even in our own speech and language, or mine right here and right now. But you know, this is falling in eclipse season, and during eclipse season, things can happen very quickly, and we can see major shifts, major openings, lots of karmic kind of happenings, with opportunities sometimes to find resolution, to move beyond something, or literally to leap forwards into something that connects to our calling or our purpose. And the Mercury retrograde energy, you know, it also sometimes brings things back into our lives that we're needing to review and become aware of. So I just feel the energy is really extraordinary at the moment. So this is why we're doing these readings today, and we're asking for personal information. We're going to be drawing 3 cards. I see this one first and the one on the top as the second reading. And actually, this is a bit of a one-off as well, but what I think I'm going to do, and it came through very strongly in my preparation, I'm actually going to be doing, I think, some extended readings. So we'll do the readings as I would normally do here on YouTube, and they will be in-depth readings, excuse me. What I think I'm going to do is I am going to do some extended readings, particularly with a focus of any kind of connections to past lives that might be coming through. And what I'll do is I'll post those on Patreon that's where I post my bigger extended all zodiac sign readings as well. It's a bit of a one-off. I don't normally do extended readings for my usual pick a card readings, and this will be in depth, but I do feel really strongly it's just something coming through, channeling through to do with past lives, where I feel there'll be like another layer of information. So anyway, let's just go with this. Let's see where we're going. So I'm seeing this for reading number 1. We're going to draw 3 cards together, and I'm then going to draw some runes and some charms as well, just to help to guide you in. I'm seeing this card here for reading number 2, and I'm seeing the card on the bottom. That's what's coming through for me for reading number 3. Let's see what we actually have here. So reading 1, surrender, sensitive sister, be moved by the moon. So this is reading 1, your card. Hold that up so you can see that really clearly, I hope. Reading number 2, we have hold on to me. And this is the detail. I hope you can see that really clearly. And then reading number 3, we have, oh wow, her joy renders the impossible task possible. Okay, so we are asking, how is the Mercury in retrograde energy during this eclipse season going to be affecting you personally? Let's draw a rune and a charm for each of these readings. Okay, and charms we have. Okay, so reading number 1, you actually have the blank rune, and you have the charm of these music notes. Okay. Reading number 2, you have the rune of signals. This is like signs, signals, synchronicities. And you also have these little bells, the charm of the bells. Okay, how interesting. Then reading number 3, we have the rune of growth, Berkana, and we have the tree of life. It's a pretty powerful combination, I've got to say. Yeah, very, very excited. I'm really super excited. I'm already feeling like I'm channeling past life information coming through already. So it's going to be so interesting. I will, of course, touch on that if that is relevant and comes through before we maybe move into a deep dive for the extended readings as well. Super Souls, take as long as you need, and if none of these are resonating with you, it might mean that these are not the right readings for you. If they are resonating, you feel a strong pull to either one or even more than one, truly I would just trust that. Sometimes, you know, more than one thing can be happening in our world. You know, for most of us, we've kind of got several things, you know, life is happening, things are going on. So there's usually more than one aspect of our world that is, you know, evolving, you know, at any stage, any moment in time, although we may have a priority. And of course, sometimes, you know, I've also, especially in this sort of Mercury retrograde time, I feel that something that we might personally see as a priority, Spirit may actually perceive that there is a different priority that they want to bring your attention to. So you might find that there is more than one reading, more than one message speaking to you. Super Souls, I'm going to put the timestamps in the description box along with all the other information, and also I'll pin a comment as well for phone users to make them easy to find, and I'll leave the video running just for a few moments longer so you can take as long as you need. Just get centered, sit with the cards, the runes, the charms, and then I will see you in just a moment in the readings. Tons and tons of love. Hey, beautiful pile one people, and I have to say there's an incredible energy around your reading already. A very strong kind of like channeled message coming through for you, which is get still, resist nothing. Resistance is useless is coming through really strongly as well. It's like something is just happening. There is a bigger picture. There's stuff going on behind the scenes. And this is a time when, yeah, I just want to say resistance is useless. So let's just find out what this is actually about. These beautiful notes. I feel it is as if the universe is resonating at a really amazingly harmonious vibration that is absolutely right for you. And your task almost within this Mercury in retrograde period is to slow down enough so that your resonance is in harmony with that vibrational resonance, which I feel will just mean that everything is just going to flow, even though it may we do get disruptions, I know, but it is bizarre because I feel like for you guys it is almost as if I feel like the energy for you is the opposite of interruptions. It almost feels as though everything is designed to flow. Though I'm also seeing something flowing backwards, you know, like a tide comes in and then it goes out. And it's really interesting if you ever, you know, if you ever sit right at the point of an estuary. I lived, you know, at the point of an estuary for a couple of years where two rivers met and went out to sea. And it was just fascinating when the tide was coming in. It was quite disorientating, because in a way, everything in your expectations, your sort of your visual experiences sort of says that everything should be going outwards. You know, the water should be flowing out into the sea. And it was a really bizarre experience because you could sort of see it going both ways at the same time. And sometimes, even though the tide was coming in, it still looked as though the water was going out. I mean, it was just a really interesting visual experience and also a sensory experience when I would sit and get really still and just, it was very meditative, and just watch the water. And kind of there's something about you guys aligning with the flow at a time and a point of change. And yes, resistance is useless. It's absolutely true. If I think of that estuary and what I'm kind of really seeing right now, you know, you cannot stop those tides from turning. You cannot stop. This is the natural rhythm, the natural motion of the greater universe. Anyway, I am dead excited to look at what all of this is really meaning for you, pile one. Let's draw a ton more cards. We're asking, what is the Mercury in retrograde energy? How is this actually going to be affecting you personally, directly? Let's draw a spirit animal guide, get some information for our beautiful reading number one. I'm seeing this card, Spider. Okay, and I'm also seeing this one. I really felt two coming out for you. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful energy. So you have Spider and you have Hummingbird. Wowza. Do you know, isn't it interesting? Even this figure here, it's like I feel like she's almost in the shape of this spiral here. Pile number one, people, I actually feel that something is going to come to light for you. Look at the brightness behind the hummingbird. Hummingbirds, you know, they are utterly unique. Again, you think of the energy of the tides that I was just talking about. It can look as if the water's going one way, but it could be going another way. There could be an undercurrent. Hummingbirds can fly in every different direction. They can go up, they can go down, they can fly still, they can move forwards, they can go backwards. Yeah, get still, resist nothing, but be still enough to see what you're shown. I think something is going to come to light. Let's ask more. What is this about for our beautiful pile one people? What is coming to light? How is the Mercury in retrograde energy affecting pile one personally? Okay, what do we have? I'm just seeing the top card from those. Okay, so we have the threshold. Ah, yes. The shapeshifter. Okay. We have Kairos. And we have, oh my goodness me, we have the vision. Wow, okay. We have the vision. Look at these beautiful owls. Okay. My beautiful reading number one people. Vision, look at the eye of Kairos. You are going to be shown things during this period. Now, I want to say that I think it could be not just one big experience, but lots of experiences. Get still and be an observer of your own experience. My beautiful souls, I do feel this is a very life-changing period for you. But it may feel genuinely as if you are not on solid ground, as if certain things are shifting and changing. There is purpose to this. It's as if, you know, stuff is coming into your world, and we'll draw a lot more cards around this, but something's coming into your world, or circumstances, you know, the kind of situations, people that are opening your eyes again and again and again to, it's like your very perspective, your perceptions of life are being changed. The things that you thought were real kind of maybe don't seem real anymore, like that water in the rivers, you know, it looks like it's going one way, but kind of it isn't, you know, and you suddenly become conscious and aware of this. Now, the purpose of this is that you are being given an opportunity to step through a massive gateway. Whatever you choose to do with this and where you go with it, I mean, well, we'll see how this reading pans out. What is actually important, the information coming through for you right now, is to sort of, is literally to surrender to the process. So for the Mercury retrograde period, for this eclipse period, Surrender to the process. Don't try to kind of make anything happen. Surrender to the process and be an observer of everything. Like a hummingbird, they can hover, then they can go backwards. They can move really quickly. So you're actually very safe, okay? And I voice that because I think it might feel for some of you like it doesn't feel safe, because stuff that you thought was kind of like really set in stone, and then you suddenly think, oh wow, actually that's not the way I thought it was. I just feel like your whole world is being opened up, your vision is being opened up, your capacity to see things differently, to have a different knowing. You know, inside this card there's another card, okay? And what we see right in the middle here, I don't know if you can see that, there's like a little mountain range here, and there's a hole like a cave. I mean, this is actually an image from one of the other cards in this pack, where it's like the gold is actually inside the mountain. So I think for you guys, this is a time when, my goodness me, the inner growth available to you, your perspectives changing, and therefore your external world also changing after the event, as it were, is phenomenal, okay? It's just extraordinary. I feel like it would be a bit like somebody who had, lived a very kind of almost like a black and white kind of existence within a very small realm of experience, and then something happens that completely turns their world upside down, and they start to discover that all sorts of things that they thought were a particular way, there's so much more to them, that the picture is not limited. And as a period of time, the growth here for you is internal growth. And at the end of this Mercury in retrograde period and the eclipse season, you'll be able to step into I just feel like a whole new world will be opened up to you, because the blank rune is a rune of gestation. It's a period where something it's like we're putting ingredients in the pot and letting them bubble away and stirring that magical cauldron. We don't quite yet know what's going to come out at the other end. So how's this actually happening? Let's draw some more cards. I do need to say, you know, if listen to your dreams as well. You know, every which way, in every direction, there is a new perspective available to you. It almost is as if, a bit like a newborn baby. We know that a newborn baby, if you imagine what their sensory experiences must be like, they are pure, they are kind of raw and vulnerable, very, very, very sensitive. Their experiences and everything, the incoming kind of vibes, the incoming perspectives are all new and fresh. What is super lovely in your reading, pile one, is that fundamentally it's about awakening joy in you, an appreciation, a richness, an appreciation of every second of every moment. Let's find out more. Let's ask, what are we being shown? More information, please. May we have more information, please, for reading number one. Okay, I'm seeing this card too. And let's have a look at what is on the reverse, the base of the card. 10 of Swords. How interesting. So the actual purpose of this is to bring something to a close. There's been some kind of I don't know, like I almost want to say a personal conflict. Maybe for some of you, like, I mean, you know, like we just go round and round in circles, like on our own head trip kind of thing. I feel like there's an energy of that around you. And it's the purpose of this is that you leave that behind. I think maybe you've placed restrictions around yourself, perhaps due to, you know, circumstances didn't give you the knowledge, the vision, the trust, the awareness to be able to see with a clarity, to feel that inner strength, that that can help you to remain grounded when things are uncertain. I will say, I do think for some of you, you are going to experience this period as a little bit wobbly, and part of the message here in your reading is really just to say resistance is useless. Get still and enjoy the journey. Smell the roses. So 6 of chalices, 6 of cups. This is your first card. Then we see, look at her immersing herself in the experience. What did I just say? Smell the roses. She's immersing herself in the experience, in the presence and in the now. The 6 of chalices is really, really interesting because it is a card that connects to sometimes a feeling of nostalgia, you know, where we look backwards, but we can also look forwards. It's like a breaking point when we recognize what hasn't been working, and because we recognize it, we see it differently. We look at something through a different lens, and because we see it through a different lens, we now have space to begin to create a potentially different future. And then we have the 3 of Wands. Look at these beautiful flowers coming through here. Again, there is something very magical and transformational taking place. We have the 8 of chalices as well. Then we have the 6 of pentacles in reverse. Okay. How interesting. There's going to be a bit of debate going on here about, navigating resources, the sharing of resources. And then we have the 6 of Wands. How interesting. We have 2 sixes here, which are all about those turning points. Well, in fact, we have 3 sixes. The energy of 6 is around you. I mean, my goodness me, 6 of chalices, 6 of pentacles, and 6 of Wands. Let's move these along a little bit and kind of plonk these in the middle, I think. Okay. What I do feel with the energy of the sixes, I mean, again, it's really showing us this point of, where resistance is useless. I really feel that so strongly. It's got a very, very karmic flavour to this reading. It's kind of this point where something has to give, like something that you have either been tangled in, or where your head goes round and round in circles, or you just feel like it's never ending. It could even be, for some of you, just the feeling of kind of like daily monotony. Something just isn't working, and it's kind of like the universe comes along and says, well, okay, I'm going to answer your prayers. You wanted something to be different. You haven't been okay. I'm going to give you something different. And then suddenly it's like all these shifts and turns and changes. And I think there's that feeling of, whoa, I wanted change, but I kind of didn't, or I didn't expect it to be this powerful, or real fascinating kind of turning point where you can potentially now get something you really want. 6 of chalices, 6 of cups. Very interesting as well. Do you know, sometimes this can also indicate somebody coming back into your life, like a love from the past. Be interesting to see what shows up in the extended readings, because this could be a past life person coming back into your world to help to transform something. Maybe something that you couldn't have achieved in a previous life, maybe possible in this lifetime and now. I do feel with this 3 of Wands, I do feel we're kind of like traversing windows of time. I mean, the shapeshifter, portals of time. Very interesting that the 8 of chalices, as a general rule, means that we are going to leave something behind, but we leave something behind by choice. So I'm not sure that you will, during the Mercury retrograde period, I'm not sure that you will necessarily almost like physically leave something behind and move to a new chapter. For some of you, maybe you will be. Maybe that threshold will be very clear. I see it more like stepping stones as you move through something. Six of Wands is a card of victory. It's success. I'm curious about the Six of Pentacles in reverse, because, you know, this is to do with resources being shared. The fact that it's in reverse, I sort of wonder if there is conflict over resources, or a feeling of anxiety that there won't be enough in the way of resources to take you forwards. Or even maybe for some of you, there could be a loss of resources, back to the letting go. And that can make you feel really wobbly. Or you're stepping into something new and you're wondering if there will be enough. But the curious thing, I do feel like your world is sort of going to be turned upside down a bit. It's back to this, the currents. Shifting, turning, changing. What looks to be real kind of wasn't real. What you thought was moving in one direction is, in fact, was always moving in the other direction, but you didn't see it. The card of victory, the choosing to move towards something. There's a very different flavour here to cutting cords and leaving something behind, to moving towards something, choosing something different for yourself, choosing something different because every which way you turn, you see with a greater clarity that something that you thought would be sustainable isn't anymore. This is what this card is really speaking to us about. And in reality, whatever changes are taking place, it's actually creating a new foundation. Can you see the wealth in this card, the prosperity, the fruit, the fruitfulness is actually, this is building a new foundation, a solid foundation of fruitfulness that you can stand on and rely on in the future. Something you thought you could rely on is no longer reliable. Something you thought was sustainable is no longer sustainable. Something you thought would kind of keep you going is no longer able to keep you going. Even if, but it's really interesting because I also feel like, I think you kind of know that whatever it was, whatever you thought was solid, and now you're thinking, well, it's not, or it's not enough, or it can't feed me with enough, it can't give me enough. It's like you're craving for more. And the universe is saying, well, okay, let's put you in this space where you can start to create more. You can become an active creator. We're going to give you the insight, the awareness. We're going to give you all that you need to be able to see with a clarity how you can actually become, I won't say the master or the mistress of your own universe, but I do think there is something whereby you can begin to see that you yourself can actually instigate changes, and you're not a victim to things. You don't have to remain stuck. There are possibilities out there. The blank rune. It's like I'm seeing it like a witch's kind of cauldron, like, and all these ingredients of insight and wisdom and little pieces of this could be possible, that could be possible, are all being thrown in during the Mercury retrograde period. And your task is to get still and stir the pot and look into it and see what's being thrown in there metaphorically, and observe what you're shown. And adapt, flit from one flower to another. Watch the waters change in direction. Be an observer and sit with everything that you see, because every single thing that you're being shown is actually a nugget of information that will enable you to step over that threshold into something that ultimately is really about making you happy. I feel like there's been an existing rather than a thriving. Like sometimes life is like that, isn't it? We tick over and stuff just keeps on coming in, and we just deal with it and we deal with it. And somehow we end up being blinded by circumstances. Can you see this figure has a blindfold on, and all these swords. You know, it's time for something to come to its natural completion. But I think with you guys reading number one, it's literally it's almost like a way of life, a perspective, an attitude of living that has been really keeping you bound. This is designed to liberate you. You know, when I said resistance is useless, I mean, this feels like this little figure is being carried off, kicking and screaming. It's kind of like, nope, this is happening. We're going to pick you up. We're going to put you somewhere else. We're going to pick you up and drop you in a different world. And you're going to discover that there's a whole other world out there that you didn't even know about. So it feels monumentally exciting. But also I can see that there's this underlying sort of, ooh, you know, how do I handle this? And the answer is get still, resist nothing. Allow these experiences to be delivered to your door. If it feels as though your grasp on what you thought was real is slipping, don't be fazed by that. Just observe. Observe. It is as if you guys enter that eclipse portal where we can see between the worlds. We can span time and sit in this sort of reference point to timelessness, which is a bit mind-blowing, let's face it. It's kind of like, how big is the universe? That kind of flavour. But within that, you can begin to see spaces of possibility. It's like looking through a kaleidoscope, looking at the world through a kaleidoscope, and what you're seeing has a reference point to what you're used to seeing, but you're seeing it through completely new eyes. And this is what the Mercury in retrograde period, the energy of this is bringing to you. With the Six of Chalices, I do think there could be some past life connections coming in. We'll explore those in the extended reading. But for now, let's draw some more cards, my beautiful pile one, to see what else we are shown. Just a little bit more information before we wrap up this reading for you. Wealth. Beautiful 10 of Pentacles. The ultimate gain, the ultimate, the wish of the universe is for you to benefit, for you to grow, for you to flourish, for you to thrive. Because stuff in your world has not been letting you thrive. You've been ticking over, rubbing along nicely, getting by, but not really thriving. You've maybe caught glimpses of what it might be to thrive, but stuff has been in the way of you really being able to kind of literally become fully alive. And the purpose of this, that is what this is about. That is what this is about. It feels like a great awakening for you. Yeah, adjustment. We have the card of adjustment. This is actually also, not only is this about helping you to thrive, but you have not had enough happiness in your life for quite a long time. You know, maybe life has been a bit of a drudge or a bit of a chore, or there's just been too many things making demands upon your time. The purpose is to awaken your world so you can cross a threshold where you begin to truly flourish from the inside out. And it's bringing you back into balance. You know, if you go through a period where you are kind of actually having to give endlessly and you're getting to, you know, I'm not saying all of you are in the burnout, but some of you may well have experienced something of that feeling of depletion. And, you know, actually the balance has to come back. So if you've had depletion, it's now time to receive. And the purpose of this shake up, because I do feel it is a bit of a shake up, this awakening is to create exactly that threshold so you can actually live life in a different way, and fundamentally so you can be happy. That is the purpose of this. Happy, vibrant, alive, wealthy in the truest sense of the word. Yeah, you've been dealing with a ton of disappointments. Yeah, you've had disappointment after disappointment after disappointment, and it's left you feeling as though you didn't have any choices, or that your choices were limited, your horizons were limited. I think some of you even were left feeling as if you were a disappointment, as if you failed in some way, shape or form. Now, coming back to past lives, it may be that someone is coming in to assist you in addressing those feelings of disappointment. Something that couldn't be attended to in a past life is now going to be possible. It can be fixed now. Yeah, look at this, the Four of Cups, luxury. So this is like a card that says, actually, whatever took place before, it's like within the here and now, there is going to be huge scope to bring your world back into balance, and also even out the odds from previous life experiences, this life, but also I think there is a previous life connection coming through. I thought there probably was when I was really called to do these extended readings. But pile number one, you're welcome to join me for those if you wish. Patreon is a site that works on donations. You can give as little or as much as you wish, and it's where I do my big extended all zodiac readings and a tutorial every month about learning to read the cards and the runes. But you know, you're welcome to join me. This may be enough information for you, but there is a bigger picture, and truly this is that, yeah, there's a much bigger picture going on here. You've experienced some sense of disappointment, or what you have perceived to be a failure in your present life, or an area of life that has failed, and you've almost ended up dampening yourself down, committing to just ticking over. It's like you lost sight of your own vitality and your own entitlement to kind of have. It's really interesting because I think circumstances in your current situation that led you to where you are kind of in this lifetime kind of contributed to almost reinforcing some sort of that memory of a past life where something wasn't possible because of those circumstances, those historic circumstances. And it's as if somehow now the universe is creating this opportunity for you to sort of address that, because sometimes stuff does come back to us. We relive experiences. We can even relive experiences genetically. We come into a genetic lineage that resonates with a past life experience where maybe something was removed from us or we couldn't attend to it. And eclipse season is the perfect time for that portal to open and for the universe to support us in processing that and finding ways of doing it differently and resolving it, leaving it behind. And I do feel with the Six of Wands, victory, this is a card of victory, and the luxury card here, Four of Cups, where there is an abundance to share, that you are able to find fulfillment in ways that both in a past life and also within your genetic lineage, fulfillment somehow wasn't allowed. It couldn't be owned by you. So my beautiful pile one people, thank you so much for joining me today. You're welcome to come over to the extended readings where we will dive straight into what this kind of past life scenario is. Super Souls, there's also a ton of, I think really good past life. If you don't want to do the extended readings with me on Patreon, there are other past life readings. You'll find them on YouTube. There are lots of really good readers on YouTube. And you'll also, if you check out the description box, I've put a link to the Timeless Readings playlist, because if you look in that and look at all the videos, I myself have also done a couple of other pick a card readings very specifically connected to past lives. So that might also be an avenue of exploration for you if that's something that you're wanting to explore further, without diving into the extended reading area as well. Super Souls, I am sending you all the love in the world. This feels actually phenomenal, exciting, appropriate, and even if the Mercury retrograde energy is coming in and shaking things up and disrupting things, the purpose of it is really clear here. And yeah, it really does feel like, get still, notice everything, absorb it all, digest it all, stir it in that cooking pot, because as you come through the Mercury retrograde period and the eclipse season, it's almost like it's giving you everything you're going to need to be able to come through and beyond something, and literally take an ownership of your capacity to thrive, to let go of those feelings of some aspect of failure or impossibility in some way, shape or form. So very, very, very exciting times. This is such a powerful reading. My darlings, I am sending you all the love in the world. Tons and tons of love, and thank you for joining me. And of course, if you'd like to get notification of all of my readings, do subscribe and press the little bell icon as well. They should come into your stream. I do usually post a couple of these readings every week, and on Sundays I always post a reading on Sunday morning where we ask for immediate guidance from Spirit, and we ask also for immediate guidance, and also if there's any information to give you the heads up for the coming week. So if there's likely to be a bit of a wobble or something, you may just be able to find yourself an anchor point from those Sunday readings as well. Super souls, tons and tons of love to you. Hey, my beautiful souls, reading number 2. How is the Mercury retrograde energy going to affect you personally? Hold on to me, the card of hold on to me, suggests that something is going to potentially happen very, very quickly. The rune of Anzus signals, I think this reading is really saying expect the unexpected and expect it to happen fast, which is very, very interesting because Mercury in retrograde often slows us down. And yet the energy of your reading feels like something is seriously motoring forwards. Something is changing, something's emerging, something's evolving. Accelerating, I would even venture to say. May we have more information for pile 2? What is happening in the Mercury retrograde energy? What is happening for pile 2 in the Mercury retrograde energy? We have the tiger energy and we have the otter. Okay. How interesting. Let's also look at the archetypal energy coming in. What is happening? What is going to be accelerating? We are going to use both those, I think, and this one, and also the one at the base of the pack. Okay, we have the shapeshifter coming through here. We have, okay, the self. We have, oh my goodness me, look at the colours here. We have the self, we have the river, we have the heart, we have the shapeshifter. Okay. My lovely reading number 2 people, I think this is looking like a relationship reading. Now, this may be a relationship that has been feeling stuck, suddenly changes, shifts, moves forwards, or it could indeed be a relationship that suddenly it arrives. There's an acceleration in something here, something connected to the heart, and it's very, circumstances change. Circumstances are changing around you. What I'm seeing is they're changing around you in a way that feels like it's for the better. Otter energy is very, very playful. This truly feels as though the Mercury retrograde energy is actually going to create a space for you in which I sort of feel like your priorities will shift. I want to say unadulterated, flowing joy. I mean, look at the way you're radiating here. It's utterly gorgeous. Curiously enough, obviously Mercury in retrograde tends to cause loads of disruptions and it slows things down and stops stuff. But you know what? Sometimes when it stops stuff, we get to smell the roses. I feel simultaneously it's going to be like whatever the normal pace of your kind of, let's say your working world, whatever the pace of your normal working world, I think during the Mercury retrograde period, that might end up being disrupted. We'll draw more cards. But you know what? Simultaneously, something else is going to rocket into your zone, your life, your heart, your world, yourself. It's going to flow forwards. It's very transformative. It's like if your world has been feeling a bit black and white, suddenly it's transformed into colour. I mean, this is stunning. It's absolutely stunning. Just really noticing, just glancing up at the screen in front of me, we have this little corner of light up here. It's like light creeping in. I'm just going to draw some more cards straight away. What's happening here? I honestly think that whilst the Mercury retrograde period, yeah, it's so often associated with our kind of negative perspectives. But you know, I just feel for you guys, it's like your world is about to be filled with joy. I really do. Something's coming into your world that is going to open it up. There's celebration. And it flows into, yeah, it flows into colour. It's, wow, I mean, it just seems absolutely stunningly beautiful. Let me just check out, well, let's draw some more cards. Ooh, there we are. And I'm going to check out the card on the rear as well. We have the star. Look at that. I mean, look at this energy coming in. Yeah, hold on to me. Acceleration. Expect the unexpected. This feels for me like it's out of nowhere. You know, from the dark. If you've been walking along, yeah, in a black and white kind of world, in the dark, feeling in the dark a bit, it's like suddenly you're rocketed. Yeah, I just don't know what else to say beyond rocketed into a place of joy, but I don't know what that will be for you each. But we have the star, renewed hope. It does feel like it's got that flavour of falling in love, to be quite honest with you. We have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, there is magic around you. We have the Queen of Wands. We have the Ten of Wands. We have the Page of Wands. Wow. We have the Knight of Swords. And the King of Pentacles. Woo! I mean, look at this. It's like riding this bull and just going for it. And the Knight of Swords. How fascinating. You overcome something. You overcome something that's been holding you back, but I think something's coming into your world that is going to rocket you into a place of utter joy. You know, when you, it's got that energy of falling in love. When we fall in love, you know, your whole energy, your vibration is resonating at such a vibrant, high pace that it's like nothing can stop you. And almost energetically, even if there are a billion interruptions, none of it would matter because your energy is just radiating. I am truly excited for you because I feel like you are going to fall in love. You're going to celebrate. Something is moving fast. It's absolutely loaded with vibrancy, with fire, with playfulness, and it feels very life transforming, my beautiful pile 2. I love this. Expect the unexpected. How magic is that? Okay, so in our expectation of the unexpected, let's find out some more for you. Let's find out some more. What can reading number 2 expect? What kind of things are reading number 2 going to be expecting? You do overcome something. There is some sort of, I don't know, it's like something gets headed off at the pass here, the Knight of Swords. We've got this giant head coming out. Yeah, like you overcome a fear. I mean, if you have been locked in battle in a relationship, I think it moves forward. You overcome it. It's no longer an issue for you. It's like it ceases to be as big as you thought it was. How very interesting. Let's ask more information. You're coming out on top. That's for sure. May we have more information? What exactly is going on for reading number 2? What are pile 2 experiencing here? What's coming in the Mercury retrograde period? that is so transformative for them that their whole energy changes. Okay, we have Knight of Discs here, sitting on the bottom of the pile. Now this is a card of harvest. Okay, it is interesting, and again this card depicts, you see how tired this horse looks, and this gigantic shield. It's like something you've had to defend yourself against, or you've been in a defensive mode, working really, really hard to protect yourself. Suddenly something is no longer needed, you overcome it. This is a card of harvest. The horse is tired, but the harvest is coming in. Just gonna, let's put this up here. What else do we have? Okay, we have the Priestess. Oh, we have the Tower. Truly expect the unexpected. Truly, I don't even know how to describe this. I'm not sure if we're going to be given, my beautiful reading number 2, that much information, because it will cease to be unexpected. But I just want to say, expect the unexpected. Like, it's like a harvest comes in. I do feel, yeah, if you have been waiting for something and it's been full on hard work, suddenly it rockets. And it's life-changing. We have the Shapeshifter, we have the Tower. It is guided though. This is the point, this is guided. And look, we have a camel here as well. You know, I kind of said, and in this card here, the Queen of Discs, in this upright position, can you see that she sits looking back over a desert? It's like, I feel like you've come through a period of almost like barrenness in some way. Something hasn't been fertile that you've wanted, something that you have requested, wanted, worked for. And the camels can go for a long time through the desert without water. But it's like, now is the shift, now is the time, now is when hard times cease. Something coming in, hard times cease to be hard times anymore. King of Pentacles. This is like the lottery win. King of Pentacles. This is, yeah, this is the reward. This is the bringing in of something, and it creates this incredible space of empowerment. I swear, you guys, you're either, something is coming in. It could be a seriously big win. Like, it's like the lottery win, the job of a lifetime, the unexpected something, the relationship that you love, that rockets your energy to the point where this is life-changing. Something is coming in during the Mercury retrograde period that you have wanted, or I say even that you've wanted, because expect the unexpected. And I think it's big, if I'm truly honest. It's life-changing. I think this is big. Going to make your heart sing. Wow. Celebrations. How fascinating. I'm wondering how this connects to a past life, my beautiful reading number 2 people. You know, we'll look into that. We'll look into it. I feel this is so interesting. I feel like I'm not being given the specific information, because if we have that specific information, it will cease to be, it won't be unexpected anymore. I honestly feel like it's something that comes just glaringly out of the dark, and suddenly, da-da, here you are. It flows, it radiates, yeah. It fires you up, it brings colour to your life. And it gives you such an empowerment. Wow. Okay. This is so interesting, because I feel like I want to draw more cards. I want to know loads more. And yet I also feel like I'm not kind of being given that information. Beyond, all I'm getting is this exhilarating excitement of something happening that is accelerating very, very fast and rocketing you into a space from a place of barrenness, a place where something hasn't been happening, a place where you've been like feeling like you're on an endurance test, to a place where the harvest comes in. Rewards. How shall we proceed, my beautiful pile 2? How shall we proceed to find out a bit more information, maybe? Expect the unexpected. Are we going to be given any more information? Let's draw a couple more cards and see what else we're shown. Could we be given a little bit more information for pile 2, please? This is so interesting. All I just want to say is I'm so excited for you. What's opening? Is there anything in the way? Is there anything in the way? Is there anything reading number 2 need to know about? Be led by the path before you. How interesting. Look at the way she has her back to the future. It's like she's just not even... You're not going to see this coming. How interesting. We have the river, and can you see there is a river behind her? Yes. You're not seeing this coming. I can't tell you what it is. This is one of the most interesting readings I've ever done, because I can't tell you what it is. Only that you're not going to see it coming. You've got no idea it's on its way. It comes totally out of the blue. It's utterly amazing. It rockets you into a place of super turbocharged transformation. I mean, the Tower is sometimes seen as a challenging card, but this is not. I mean, this is transformation to a point where things that used to bother you cease to bother you. Okay, can we see anything else at all? Anything else for my lovely reading number 2s? I feel like I'm going to leave you on tenterhooks, but I'm still going to do an extended reading, because I'm very curious about, you know, I had such a strong pull to do extended readings about past lives. So I guess we could ask about something to do with that. Okay, there. Now that's interesting. As we connected to past lives, out comes a card. The Snow Shepherdess. How interesting. This is a card that says believe in the impossible. Wow. Again, expect the unexpected, expect an accelerated change. Believe the impossible. Okay. Something you would never have believed was possible. Now, this came out very connected to some aspect of a past life. So it's something that you couldn't have had in a past life, something that was impossible for you, that you've come back hoping you're going to get this time around. Something is coming to you. Now, I don't know what that is. Very curious about this Knight of Swords, because this feels as though there's something that gets addressed. Something that used to feel bigger or in the way, hanging over you. Look at this, it's this like coming from above, hanging over you. Yeah, something you've brought with you, I think, gets sorted out, and you're free to receive it, to have it. I guess there's harvest, there's barrenness, and this is like really out in the cold. And this is, of course, the opposite. It's like turbocharged empowerment. The Snow Shepherdess. Believe in the impossible. What is coming? I think it's an ambition. That's coming through quite strongly. We have the Hanged Man. And we have the Princess of Wands. This is... yeah. Okay. This really is, I think, tuning into some aspect of a past life, which I guess is what we've asked. What I do think was that, and we'll delve into it in the extended readings. You're welcome to join me for that. really all I want to do in this reading for you, beautiful pile 2, is like literally say, expect the unexpected, believe in the impossible. Something is coming. It's going to come out of absolutely nowhere. You won't see it coming. I can't tell you what it is because it wouldn't be the surprise that it's intended to be. Okay, so this is just, it just seems like a kind of like a mad reading, but actually that's kind of how it is. Something changes from a period of what has felt like an endurance test or a barrenness to a place where you are empowered. And the Princess of Wands here is the card of empowerment. And we have the tiger. Yes. So in this card, you kind of see this kind of naked figure, and she has overcome the tiger of fear. She's free, she's liberated. Something that used to really hold her back, hang over her, she is now free of it. So something she was afraid of. I say she, he, she, you, they. Something you have been afraid of. You overcome it. Something that's literally hung you, persecuted you. This is where we're tuning into past lives, actually. I think there's been some element historically in a previous life where you really, really were targeted or persecuted. And something of that has come with you. It's been hanging over you. But I think it's also blocked you from being able to be fully available to actually have something. And this is something very physical, something very real. You may actually in a previous life have been, maybe you lived a spiritual life to a point where you were, something like a monk or somebody who had to be in isolation. Almost there's something of an isolation here, where you couldn't you couldn't be married and have a family, or you couldn't have the full physicalness, the full sensual experience of an abundant physical life, which we're seeing here. Page of Wands, we're seeing this manifest. Page of Wands, we've got Queen of Wands, we've got 10 of Wands. It's like suddenly you can manifest the things that you have dreamed of. Yeah, we're seeing a major shift coming from nowhere. A liberation. I can't think I'm literally going to leave your reading there. I will dive into the past lives. That's actually what we're going to do in the extended reading. This believe in the impossible. I'd like to know what it is that's been hanging over you, maybe where you've come from. If that is of interest to you and you want to kind of really understand, if it's important to you to understand what some aspect of a past life has been lingering, clinging, holding you back, stopping you from accelerating, moving forwards, embracing the fullest life possible, then you are very, very welcome to join me. But I am literally just going to wrap up your reading and say, believe in the impossible, something that you've done battle with, something that previously you were perhaps in a past life persecuted for, and maybe you've come into this life and you've ended up being persecuted again, but you are liberated from this. Something comes along, it breaks it open, it transforms it. It literally could be love. It is the power of love. The heart, the power of love transforms. But I can't tell you exactly what it is because it won't be unexpected. But I just feel like it's coming out of nowhere. My beautiful pile 2, I love your reading. I feel it's the most peculiar reading in that normally I would be drawing more cards and looking into this and looking after into that. But I'm actually being told really clearly, this is like the surprise, expect the unexpected, and it won't be unexpected if I tell you too much, only to expect the unexpected. It will overrule and bring in something of such life-changing proportions that you will not look at the world again in the same way. And this is about having something that you honestly believed you could never ever have. And there's just so much energy. It will it probably will be monumentally disrupting, which is the Mercury retrograde energy, but it's going to be monumentally disrupting in the absolute most best possible way. That is all I'm going to say right here and right now. I'm going to move on and do the extended reading, which I will put on Patreon. Patreon is a different platform. It's where I do my big all zodiac sign readings for every month. For the moon, I work with the moon month rather than the calendar month, and I do a tutorial over there as well. My beautiful pile 2 people, if you wish to join me over there to investigate the past life thing that's been hanging over you, getting in the way, you are very welcome to join me. But that may not actually feel necessary for you. You may not want to know what that was. You may feel just utterly blissed out that it's coming to an end. But however that is here, for those of you that want that additional insight and feel like it might be valuable to you, that is what we're going to do. But as far as it goes, just enjoy my beautiful pile 2 people. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for whatever you've been doing in your world to create and be, you are an active part of this shift. So, you've been through an arid period, a long wait. You've waited and waited and waited. I actually literally feel you've waited lifetimes for this. So whatever it is, it's pretty damned exciting. And, we may get a bit more of a clue about it through the recognition of what you couldn't have previously in a past life. But ultimately, I feel like this is bigger and better than you could have believed, and that just feels joyous. I am sending you all the love in the world, my beautiful pile 2. If you want to get notification of any of my readings, do subscribe, press the little bell icon. I will put the links to anything and everything that I do, including Patreon, if you want to check out the all zodiac sign readings and the extended readings that I'm doing today as well. I'll make sure they're up and running as soon as this goes live, so you can literally click over as soon as this wraps up, so that you can move on into that extra information if that's something you really want to know about. And I also will I've got a timeless readings playlist. I've done a few other readings here on YouTube about past lives, so you might want to just check those out if you don't want to do the Patreon thing. Super souls, I'm sending you all the love in the world. This is it's just wicked. It truly is absolutely amazing. Tons of love. Hey, beautiful. Reading number 3. Welcome. You have the card, Her Joy Renders the Impossible Task Possible. We have Berkana, which is a new phase of life. Interestingly enough, Berkana is represented by the birch tree, and we have the tree of life. This is like a whole new phase, a new forest growing. So this is really interesting. Now we are asking, what is happening in the Mercury retrograde energy for you guys? How is it affecting you? And I'm finding this really interesting, because this is all about growth, and yet Mercury in retrograde often slows us down. So it's been pretty fascinating to see how this dynamic is going to play out, particularly because we have eclipse season when things can also happen quickly. It's a real fascinating time astrologically. Let us ask, beautiful pile 3, how is the Mercury retrograde energy going to be affecting you? We have earthworm and hummingbird. How very interesting. So we have our beautiful, humble earthworm, who is actually one of the most productive creatures. Earthworms create fertility. How interesting. Hummingbird came out in reading 1. I think this is very different, this energy though, for you guys. Very different energy. Though if you were attracted to both, then that's very interesting. Let's draw more cards. What are we shown here? What is happening in the Mercury retrograde energy? What's that influence going to do with our beautiful pile 3 people? Here we have information for our pile 3 people. What are we being shown, please? I'm going to look at the card on the reverse, which is the Mystic. Okay, so we're seeing transformation coming through here. We have the Bardo. Oh, wow. Okay. We have the Mountain. And we have the Orphan. Gosh. Okay. This is like, I feel like you guys are, I want to say, journeying through the worlds. Obviously, with the extended readings, I'm planning to look at past lives because that came through so strongly. The Mountain. Interestingly enough, her joy renders the impossible task possible. I feel like even though I think you have achievements, things you want to achieve. And curiously enough, I think the resources you need to achieve are going to come to you to achieve something, to bring something to a space of fruition. Even though the Mercury retrograde energy is going to be here, there and everywhere. I sort of almost feel like against all odds, you succeed at something. Now, I don't want that to sound too off-putting, but I do. I feel like against all odds. When I say against all odds, almost as if, you know how like time can stand still sometimes? It's like, I mean, I can remember I had a really fascinating experience one time, and I will share it because it seems really relevant to your reading. But I was sitting here and I was actually getting ready to go to, it was actually a really important kind of spiritual event in my kind of calendar. And it was quite a drive away. And I was just literally getting ready to leave, and I was allowing the right amount of time I needed to get to where I needed to be. And it wasn't really important for me. It would have been important to get there in ample time, plenty of time to be early. And suddenly, you know, things started to sort of like happen at home. There was a knock on the door and I had to attend to something, and it was like a parcel not even being delivered for me, but asking if I could take it for my neighbour. And then I had to sign something, and then the guy's little device didn't work properly. And so suddenly it was like my timings were really being kind of messed around. And I had this overwhelming feeling that it was not appropriate for me to leave immediately, because stuff just kept happening. And it was one of those moments when I felt like I was in that zone, much as when we do a reading, as if channeled information was coming through saying, you're not to go just yet. You know, it was really fascinating. And I kind of went with the things, the interruptions that were happening. This happens in Mercury in retrograde. I just went with it. And I knew I'd be late, and I sent a text just to say, you know, probably going to be late. But I also knew the text probably wouldn't be received because there's no signal where I was going. And I just thought, I'm just going to have to go with this, and I really don't want to be late. But it was this overwhelming feeling of being in a channeled moment where I knew that I needed to not be leaving on time. Okay. When I then did leave, okay, I, along the way, suddenly heard tons and tons of sirens and things, and there actually was a really quite significant accident on my route, and I had to do a detour. And that detour, so not only was I then running late, but actually that accident, that's pretty much where I would have been if I had left at the time that I had intended to leave. That kind of like 10-15 minutes would have put me in the zone of when that had happened. And I had to do a massive detour, and I was really conscious of the fact that this had happened, and somehow it felt, I really tuned in with something, it was really appropriate for me not to be in that time and space. Okay, I felt very protected. Do you know the really bizarre thing was, I then drove around this massive detour, which should have, so I was already 10-15 minutes late, massive detour, and yet I arrived bang on time. Okay, now how did that happen? You know, how did time warp for me? They hadn't received my text because there was no signal there, but I still arrived there literally within minutes of the time that I had planned to be there, even by the delay and doing a massive detour that took me on a really long route. I mean, you just think, how did that happen? How did time adjust itself? Okay, that's the flavor I'm getting with your reading. Okay, it's like the energy orchestrating itself. You might feel like you slow right down and you're here, there and everywhere, but just hold the space of joy and recognize that whatever takes place in terms of interruptions, there is an absolute inner gold mine. There's a purpose to it. Now, the Orphan is an interesting card. Very, very interesting card, because it speaks of separation in some way, shape or form. It speaks of separation from, not necessarily from in a human way, but it speaks of the way that we ourselves are often, you see, we're often so separated from the realness of life. You know, our Western culture removes us, it gives us that sense of loneliness, of separation, and yet we are intrinsically connected to spirit all of the time, but we're often not aware of it. I sort of feel like her joy renders the impossible task possible. Whatever you are planning to achieve, succeed, bring into the world during this period of time, the Mercury retrograde period, I feel like you're going to get there, even with any number of interruptions and disruptions. Her joy renders the impossible task possible. And your reading is bringing a really clear message, which is to really tune into absolutely anything and everything. I feel like you are going to be taken to exactly the right time, at the right place, at every step of the way. And it may feel a little bit disorientating and it may feel a bit weird, but there will be a billion golden nuggets along the way. I feel like you're going to feel like you're journeying between the worlds. But the outcome is that you will find yourself attuned with the natural rhythms of the earth. And exactly what you need will come just as you need it. And whatever you need to achieve, you're going to achieve it regardless. Even though circumstances might make you feel like you're never going to achieve it. And this reading for me feels like it's giving you a validation. It's saying, you know, whatever happens, just go with that. And trust that every single nugget of everything you need will rock up exactly as you need it. Let's draw some more cards for you. Maybe be given more information, because I'm also curious about what you are supposed to achieve. If we think about this butterfly emerging, the mystic, I mean, everything here again is about you aligning spiritually. It is as if you become attuned with the universal energy of spirit, of the universe, and therefore everything works for you. Her joy renders the impossible task possible. But this oak tree, this tree of life, what is it you're building? What is it you're birthing? Now, may we please just have more information, please? May we have more information for reading 3, please? May we ask for more information? I just need to say I'm hearing, and this is connected to the past life stuff. Gosh, there's something you either couldn't achieve or didn't complete, or you did a bit of it along the pathway and now is the time for its full emergence. There's something here connected to the past life stuff, which is what came through so clearly at the beginning. Draw these cards here. I'm just going to draw one more. That's how interesting. I feel I want all of these 4. I'm just going to sit them there. And we'll just look at the reverse. We have the Page of Swords in reverse. How interesting. Okay. Now, this Page of Swords has a blindfold on. This is in reverse, and it looks like, for me, it almost has a similar energy to the Fool, where we're seeing somebody stepping off a precipice. And this is in reverse. Let's sit that here and see what else we're shown. Okay, so we have 6 of Swords. Look at these butterflies. You're crossing a bridge. We have the Two of Wands. And here we have like a river again. I feel like, yeah, again, you're going to cross a bridge. You may even be the bridge. Yes, you may actually be the bridge. We have the Ten of Wands in reverse and the Magician also in reverse. Let's put these into an upright position. Okay, we have somebody like stealing through the trees. Can you see this? And the Magician has an insect in his hand. I actually think, my dear reading 3 beautiful souls, I feel like you may be given, well, for starters, it's this level of illumination here, the Magician. Because the Ten of Wands is in reverse, as is the Magician card. Yeah. Okay. I am rather inclined to think, I'm going to place this at this end, okay. I am rather inclined to think that something in a past life that was like hidden from you. There was a bridge you couldn't cross. Yeah, something in a past life that was hidden from you, taken from you, interrupted. Okay. I actually think, you know, when I said there's somebody in the background stealing through the woods here. I will draw more cards in the extended reading. We'll dive into the past life stuff, but I want to kind of acknowledge it here because basically I feel like your life was stolen from you at a young age. I think some aspect of a past life, you probably passed away suddenly as a child. Yeah, you never got to grow up. You never got to be a fully grown, manifesting adult. I said this feels like the Fool. The Fool is an entry point. You never got to take those risks. You never got to climb those mountains. And with the Earthworm, yes, burial again. I think you were. I think you were snatched away from life very quickly and very suddenly. Actually, that's what I feel. And we'll draw more cards in the extended reading, but it's really, really interesting. Because it's like losing your faith, losing your trust. If something happens to you, if you have a sudden loss, a sudden bereavement, a sudden something along those lines, it's very, very hard to feel that you can ever trust life again. Because it's so sudden. It's like the anxiety of something happening that's so out of your control sits with you, it stays with you. I was saying after the other two readings, if you've watched either of the other two readings, then you will know already that you're here on Patreon. I say here on Patreon, we're not on Patreon yet, of course, my apologies. I'm zoning into the Patreon part of the reading because we're in the thinking of the past lives. So YouTubers basically on Patreon, where I put I'm going to be putting the extended readings, and they'll be there literally. You can go from here straight to the extended reading. Patreon is a site where I put my big all zodiac sign readings. I also do a tutorial every month, and it's just been really, really interesting to me that the tutorial that I'm going to be, I've already recorded it, I haven't edited it yet, I've got to, because it contains 3 readings, and I will post it on YouTube for 48 hours as well, so do watch out for that. But it's all about how we use the cards and readings in order to help us to recover from trauma and loss. That's where I was going with that. I was zoning into my Patreon stuff, but basically I feel like you're in a past life, your world was snatched away from you, and in such a sudden way, you know, it kind of creates like an aspect of soul loss where we lose trust, we lose our ability to trust our own intuition, we lose our ability to trust life. And this feels a time when, for some reason, the way that the energy is aligning for you during the Mercury retrograde, it's like it restores your faith, it restores your trust, because it's kind of exactly as I was saying, the story that I shared at the beginning, it's kind of like actually you realize suddenly that the universe is working with you, that there is a bigger picture, a universal law. Your past life reading that I will dive into now in the extended readings on Patreon, we'll look at that, and we'll look at how that fits into a bigger picture. Hopefully help to bring some meaning, if for those of you that feel you need that. You may not feel you need it, you may feel this is enough, and we'll draw a lot more cards for you yet, beautiful souls. But I just feel what we're being shown here is that your life was snatched away from you, and it has been really, really hard for you to feel that you have any trust in the universe, that you can really build a solid foundation. And I think the experiences that are coming to you during the Mercury retrograde, even though they may be interrupting, it will be a bit like you'll suddenly realize the universe, despite interruptions, is bending around you, and you will achieve whatever you were aiming to achieve. It's going to come to you. We're seeing a transformation and an emergence, not only of the things, you know, her joy renders the impossible task possible, and we have Joy, the hummingbird, but it's like you realize you can flit around, and actually what you need is going to come to you. Let's have a look at these cards. What do we have here? So first of all, we have the 5 of Swords. It's come out in reverse, or sorry, the 4 of Swords. Interesting. So it came out in reverse, but let's look at it in the upright position first. The 4 of Swords is a point of contemplation. Okay. It's a point when we can get still enough to actually sort of to see what we're being shown. It's like, for me, it's like a card of meditation where the mind is stilled and suddenly we can begin to see clearly. We can move through the clutter of the mind, the stuff that tangles us. Because it is in reverse, it's quite interesting. This is what feels like this topsy-turvy energy. Because in a way, I don't think your world is going to be very still during the Mercury retrograde period. And yet, despite it being quite higgledy-piggledy and upside down, it's all going to flow in a very meditative sort of way anyway. Let's pop this, where should we pop this? Just here. The Ace of Swords, clarity is going to come. It literally, it feels like Excalibur, like the way will be shown. That clarity of thought is going to just arrive. You'll know the direction you're meant to take step by step. Just as I knew that I shouldn't leave immediately, I just knew something is restored, your faith, your trust. Yes, Knight of Chalices. Look at the way he, there's like a bridge of water. It's this overcoming of things. We have a bridge here. We're looking across the water here. The Knight of Chalices, you know, he's the Knight of Cups. There's love involved. It's like you can, metaphorically, you can climb a mountain, but you kind of just trust that love will take you there. You're going to be shown the way. There's a lot of healing energy around you. A lot of healing. 6 of Chalices. This is a card of nostalgia, but look at the way she is immersed in these healing waters of life. These lilies around her, these lotus flowers opening. The Six of Chalices, the Six of Cups, it's a card of nostalgia where we, how interesting, I've put them here and I feel like I now have a complete row. Six of Chalices, I actually think Mercury in retrograde, I think you can experience an awful lot of disruption, but within that disruption you will suddenly find that you are aligning with the natural rhythms of the universe, and whatever it is that you aim to achieve, I think it's literally going to fall into place, and your trust will be restored in some way, shape or form. Yeah, and this does go back to a past life, and I would also suspect that within your current life as well. I think some of you have probably really struggled with some aspect maybe of loss. And interestingly enough, I think not only was your own life taken early in a previous lifetime, but I suspect many of you have struggled with loss and really had to rebuild something. You've got a connection to some aspect of loss that maybe knocked you for six, made you really question and doubt your faith, your trust in the universe. That's not necessarily there for all of you, but I do feel for some of you it's there. And it's time for the universe to sort of address something of this, for spirit to communicate with you and through you in a way that you begin to know that actually life is possible, and to know that there is a bigger picture here. May we ask for some more information for our beautiful pile 3 people, please? May we ask for more information for pile 3. What is happening in the retrograde period? Is there anything else that pile 3 really could do with knowing about? So we have change. Now this came out in the reverse position. This is very interesting, but look at the harmony here. The sign of infinity, the figure 8. And this is about Jupiter, which is about hope, optimism, expansion in Capricorn in a real way. And the yin-yang sign, restoring balance. How interesting. I feel for you as well that you've probably, because I think you've experienced perhaps trauma or loss. I mean, that's what fascinating, isn't it? That I've ended up doing that tutorial this month. But I think for you guys, change has become really fearful. It's because when we do experience a sudden loss or a sudden disruption, and it's quite catastrophic or traumatic, then our association with change becomes really connected to high anxiety. And that's actually transforming here. You're going to get tons of disruptions, I believe, during the Mercury retrograde. But part of that is a healing energy that helps you to actually realize that change can be working for you rather than against you. Because I think you've had experiences where change felt as though it was working against you. Really tough stuff going on for you, I believe. May we have more information for pile 3, please? May we have more information for pile 3? Yes, so we have the Knight of Discs. This came out in one of our other piles as well. We have the Aeon, okay, or I think that's how you pronounce it. We have, yes, we have the Nine of Swords, the card of cruelty. And we'll have one more. I think we'll take from the bottom of the pack, the Princess of Wands. This came out in one of the other readings too. How fascinating. Okay, so what I want to say about this is that the card of cruelty, the Nine of Wands, is in this pack. It does, sometimes it just indicates what I would call a raging inner critic, where you constantly slaughter yourself and constantly give yourself a really hard time. In fact, it's not even just an inner critic, it's like an inner bully. But what this reading is telling me is that, and it's there, is actually life has been cruel to you. You've experienced some genuine cruelty, and it really wore you down. The Knight of Discs is a card, it is a beautiful card because it's a card of harvest, it's a card of completion, but it comes, you know, it's kind of like, I always think this horse looks really weary. You know, the point of harvest for a farmer comes when they are exhausted. They've been working all year, and then the point at which they have to bring in the harvest is the point at which they are most tired. Yeah, you've had something that's really knocked you off balance, but we are going to see a revival and a liberation and a freedom from this feeling that the world is against you. You know, that you can't trust the world. I'm not saying that you're totally embroiled in that, but you know what I mean. When stuff happens, shit happens, it's really big, and you just think, oh, will it never end? You know, come on, universe, you know, cut me some slack. and this is the time when actually I do think there'll be interruptions, changes, but they are coming in to kind of literally, I feel just as that happened with me, things will happen that will show you that the universe has your back, and you will be starting to experience a sense of almost creative thinking rather than critical thinking, where you're you know, there's a criticism going on, it'll never work out for me, that sense of despondency, everything always goes wrong. I think you're going to start to go, oh, hang on a minute, actually maybe the universe is quite a creative place after all, maybe things can work out for me. So I think we're going to see a shift and a lifting. If you've struggled with any periods of depression, anxiety, I think circumstances are going to come in, they're going to bring you joy and quite humbling experiences as well, really very humble experiences that bring you back to earth and make you feel as if you can really resonate with life again. And this is what the Mercury retrograde energy is going to be bringing in for you, beautiful pile 3. Feels absolutely like it's really, really needed. That breath of fresh air, that renewal of faith, that renewal of trust. The nuggets that you suddenly see in those ups and downs that pop up in life, and you just think, oh, not again. And then suddenly there's a silver lining and you go, oh, wow, I didn't see that one coming, but hey, that's really useful. That's really helpful. And yeah, whatever you're trying to achieve and manifest, it as I said, it kind of comes through. And I feel like it's that literally the universe bending time around you, so you still achieve your goals even though you didn't think you would. And remarkably you start to restore this. There's a restoration of faith and trust and a shifting of things like depression and anxiety, and I think it comes because of actual real disruptions that ultimately prove to be bringing in a harvest. They're really fruitful for you. And it does, it layer by layer, step by step, it renews your faith and starts to free you from the fear of everything constantly going wrong. So beautiful souls, I'm actually now, I think I'm going to wrap up this reading here on YouTube, and my apologies as I dived into the Patreon bit almost. I was sort of in that zone. What I am going to do, I think, in the extended reading is really dive into the impact of the past life experience, and actually really we'll kind of look a little bit at that, probably connect it with a bit more depth to what's been happening in your world, you know, regarding the sort of emotional, psychological processing of these things within your current time, and yeah, just really take a look at that and ask for information, guidance from spirit, and any additional support you need. But truly expect some disruptions, but also expect success. You know, expect things to work out, because actually I think they're going to, and I think it's really going to shift your mindset in a powerfully positive and productive way. Beautiful reading number 3. Super souls, for any of you that don't want to touch base on Patreon but you're still interested in past lives, I mean, Patreon is a site that runs on donations. I mean, you can donate as little or as much as you wish. As I said, it's where I put my bigger all zodiac readings, but I'll put in the information box as well and the pinned comment. I have a timeless readings playlist, and there are definitely, if you scroll through the videos in that playlist, there are definitely at least a couple of others where I've looked at past lives. So if you don't want to come over to Patreon, but you'd like to kind of do a little bit more checking, a little bit more exploration, those readings may be of help and value to you as well. Tons and tons and tons of love, super souls. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sending you the biggest hug in the world. This feels like it's going to be genuinely really elevating for you, but I will say through disruption. But you know, hey, that's the Mercury retrograde energy, and you're still going to achieve the success that you had hoped for. So this is just fab. Tons of love to you.